The movie begins with a little girl waking up in a small, claustrophobic room. She is scared and calls out to her dad when she hears a roar, and suddenly, the room starts filling with cement from all corners. She helplessly cries for her dad, banging on the walls, until she becomes one herself. 15 years later, a recent engineering graduate, Sam Walczak, is enjoying her graduation party. Her father is the owner of a demolition company, and as her graduation present, he gives her a demolition project that she needs to supervise, and if successful, he promises to make her his partner at his company. Sam is thrilled and soon arrives at the Malstraza building, a standalone structure in the middle of nowhere. Once again, she is mesmerized by the exquisite design and sees the famous builder's insignia on the wall. She is about to touch it, but stops when she hears a door open. It is Mary, the caretaker, and Mary is surprised to see Sam as she was not expecting the demolition company to act so soon. She reminds Sam that the hotel is 50 miles from there, but Sam insists she stay in one of the apartments in the building. Mary calls her teenage son, Jimmy, and asks him to show Sam to her apartment, which used to belong to someone named Julie and her parents. While taking her to her room, Jimmy warns her not to go to the 8th floor as it belongs to Joseph Malstraza, the architect of the building, and also not to go on the roof as it is too dangerous. Sam is surprised that the architect of the building, who died a few years ago, lived in the same building. Later that evening, Sam calls her boyfriend and describes the building as a piece of art. However, she finds the atmosphere in the building creepy and tells him how the caretaker's son talks about Malstraza as if he is still alive, but she soon loses the signal and the call drops. She returns to her room and takes a shower. After she is done, she can't help but notice murmurs coming from all around her. For a minute, it appears as if the walls are talking, which runs shivers down her spine. Whatever these noises are, they do not get explained for the rest of the movie. Sam is looking around when she meets Mary and asks why the previous tenants left their belongings in the apartment. Mary gives a vague answer and doesn't delve too much into the building's history. The next day, Sam starts evaluating the building and its structure to adopt the best method to demolish it effectively. She reaches the 8th floor, which is closed, and finds the only way to get to the roof is by using the collapsible ladder. There, she finds Jimmy's secret hideout and accidentally reads his diary, which mentions her. Sam decides to research the building, so she visits a local store in the town and uses the internet. She discovers the horrific past of the building, which states that 16 people were entombed in the walls of the building. The architect Malstraza was one of the victims, and a local factory worker, Tom Sullivan, was blamed for the deaths. While returning from the town, she runs into Jimmy, and after a brief chit-chat, he takes her to show the abandoned houses nearby. Sam confronts him about lying that Malstraza is still living on the 8th floor when he is dead. Jimmy asserts that he tells stories, but never lies. Jimmy is interested in Sam, so to gain her trust, he promises to show her the 8th floor. Later that evening, Mary slaps Jimmy for revealing too much to Sam and warns him not to go anywhere near her, as she notices him growing fond of Sam. At night, Jimmy knocks on Sam's door and, as promised, he takes her to the 8th floor and tells her that Julie from Sam's apartment was one of the victims. Her father had recently got her a dog who is Jimmy's dog now, and the dog had led the police straight to where she was buried. While looking at the places where other bodies were found, Jimmy reveals that his dad was also one of the victims, and when they found the body, Mary was pregnant with Jimmy. She was there when they took out her husband's body, and she has never been the same. The revelation takes Sam aback, and she feels sorry for Jimmy. They continue looking around and find a sketch of a man that Jimmy says is Malstraza's sketch. Suddenly, a shadow appears in front of them, and whatever or whoever that shadow was does not seem to be revealed in the rest of the movie. Jimmy runs away while Sam finds the flashlight and tries to find her way back. but the flashlight gives in, and while trying to switch it on, she panics, trips on something, and cuts herself. Jimmy rushes to her aid and helps her out of the floor. Why he ran in the first place does not seem to be revealed in the rest of the movie. Once back in her apartment, Jimmy administers first aid, and while cleaning her wound, he starts caressing her thigh. But Sam asks him to stop and he leaves. That night, Sam has a nightmare about being Han Solo'd in the walls. In the morning, she wakes up sweating and hears a noise in her apartment. When she goes to investigate, she is surprised by her boyfriend. Sam takes her boyfriend to investigate the 8th floor, and while looking around, Sam finds a geometric shape carved on the wall which, when pressed, opens a secret passage that is not mentioned in the blueprints. Sam decides to climb down and finds that Jimmy has been watching her bathroom, as there is a secret window that allows him to do so. They walk forward and find the door leading to a garbage stash and bump into Mary, who is there to dispose of garbage. Sam tells her about the secret window, and Mary confronts Jimmy before sending him to his room. Later that night, Sam's boyfriend suggests they leave the place as he feels on edge in the building. Sam agrees and they spend the night releasing their tension. Unbeknownst to them, Jimmy secretly hears them while he sits in an empty space adjacent to Sam's bedroom, and he is not happy about it. The next morning, Sam finds blood coming from underneath the door to Julie's room. It has been locked till now, and when Sam opens it, she finds Jimmy's dog butchered in it. Sam finishes her report and is ready to leave when Jimmy comes with a parting gift. It is Malestraz's journal that contains the drawings and designs, all drawn by hand. He was inspired by Egyptian architecture and pyramids, and after reading the journal, Sam realizes there must be a hidden space in the center of the building. Sam infers that the passage should have access through the roof, and Jimmy offers to check it out. But when he doesn't return for quite some time, Sam and her boyfriend go to the roof to look for him. There, they discovered a massive shaft at the center of the building, and Jimmy cries for help, saying that he broke his leg. Sam's boyfriend proposes he goes down with the use of the rope hanging from the pulley overhead, but Sam argues to let her go down instead, as she wouldn't be able to pull them both out. Her boyfriend reluctantly agrees, and as he lowers Sam into the shaft, he gets shot and killed. His body gets entangled in the ropes, and his blood covers Sam, who screams and freaks out. Her hand slips from the rope, and she dangles midair before falling onto the base of the shaft. Sam wakes up to faint light from the lantern and finds herself lying on a bed, naked. A man sits nearby and introduces himself as Malestraza, who has been trapped inside all this while by Jimmy and Mary. Jimmy plans to keep Sam trapped until she learns to love him and assures her that Malestraza won't hurt her on his watch. Jimmy then goes to mail her reports on the building to the demolition company and sinks her truck in the nearby lake. Jimmy soon returns with food, but he has a special request. He sends down a cassette and asks Sam and Malestraza to dance. Malestraza asks Sam to comply, or else they will be starved. Once they're done dancing, Jimmy asks them to kiss, and against Sam's wishes, Malestraza kisses her with his mouth, which desperately needs dental care. However, Jimmy feels jealous and warns Malestraza not to lay a finger on her, or he will hurt him. He finally sends the fruit basket along with a walkie-talkie and asks Sam to keep it with her so they can stay connected. Sam starts looking for a way out and realizes one of the walls leads to the garbage area she once visited. When Jimmy returns, Sam talks to him on the walkie-talkie and tells him she is hurt. She convinces him he took great care of her when she cut herself and would like him to take care of her again. She even takes off her shirt for him, and her plan works. Jimmy sends her the medicine, and using the capsules, she creates a concoction that she embeds in the wall leading to the garbage area, hoping to blow it up, while Malestraza silently observes her. One day, it is pouring, and heavy rain enters the shaft since Jimmy left the top open. Sam is sitting near the wall to avoid getting drenched when she spots rain washing away the mud from the remains of her boyfriend, who she finds buried at the center of the shaft. She cries and pukes at the ghastly sight. That night, Malestroza gives her his lighter and narrates that he has been down there since the police arrived. He went into hiding in the shaft, and after 3 weeks of hiding, he found his only escape was sealed by Mary. Mary found out about him and fooled everybody. She also exchanged Sullivan's dental records with his, making everybody believe Malestroza was dead. She did it to avenge the death of her husband and her daughter, Julie, who was seen at the beginning of the movie. Sam takes the lighter and lights up the makeshift explosive, but it is only able to create a dent in the wall. Malestroza continues his speech and says all the wonders of the ancient world disappeared, but the Great Pyramid of Giza still stands. He equates his buildings to the ancient monuments and says they are still standing because both monuments have people killed and buried in them during construction, providing the buildings with life sources that make them stand till the end of time. Malestroza had orchestrated all the murders to give his buildings the life energy to keep them standing for all the years to come. In the meantime, the noise of the blast attracts Jimmy and Mary's attention, and they rush to the shaft, where Mary finds out that Jimmy has entrapped Sam with Malestroza. She quickly shuts the shaft doors and yells at Jimmy for destroying her plan. In the shaft, Sam realizes Malestroza has no intentions of escaping, as he calls the building his tomb. Soon, the demolition company arrives after getting Sam's mail. Jimmy relays the news to Sam on the walkie-talkie, and she tries one more time to persuade him to let her out before destroying the device in frustration. Malestroza, however, has other plans for her and knocks her out and tying her. When Sam regains consciousness, she finds Malestroza digging a grave and activating the cement flow by the mechanism he has created, which he probably could have used to get out of there years ago but didn't for some reason. Sam desperately tries to free herself and is soon successful. She grabs the arrow that killed her boyfriend and threatens Malestroza that she will not let him kill her. But Malestroza says that the grave is not for her, but for him, and he has chosen her to kill him and make him one with his creation. Sam refuses, but when he instigates her, she eventually stabs him, and he lies in his tomb, which soon starts filling up with cement. He thanks her before completely being submerged under the cement. How he kept this cement fresh for years does not get revealed for the rest of the movie. Meanwhile, Mary convinces Jimmy to leave Sam in the shaft, as she knows too much and they cannot risk letting her go. She then shows Sam's father the building, and the workers soon start placing the dynamite. After ensuring the building is evacuated, they start the process and announce detonation will take place in 3 minutes. Jimmy and Mary stand at a distance, and Mary tries calming Jimmy down, but his teenage libido doesn't allow him to be a mere spectator of Sam's death, and he rushes towards the building, yelling at the workers to stop the detonation as well as screaming Sam's name, which is heard by Sam's father. Worried, he immediately stops the countdown before chasing Jimmy into the building. Jimmy reaches the roof and opens the gates, and Sam's father follows. He is shocked to see his daughter lying unconscious. He asks Jimmy what he did, but the guilt is too much for him to take, and he jumps to his demise and lands near Sam. Soon, the paramedics arrive and lift Sam out of the shaft. They put her in an ambulance, while Mary, with all the concrete evidence, is arrested. In a voiceover, Sam narrates that in his lifetime, Malestroza built 27 buildings, and they are all still standing. But he considered the Malestroza building his masterpiece, and currently, there are no plans to demolish it. And that's a wrap for this movie recap. Thanks for watching.